You can come on in, Mr. Joseph. You can come on in. You want to come in? Come on in, Mr. Joseph. Come on in. Oh, you're quite welcome. Come on in. Come and go as you please. It's okay. Come on in, sir. Please follow the instructions of Deputy Garrett.
Turn around, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you have to give this court should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes, I do. Thank you. Please state and spell your name for the record.
Jeffrey Moss, Jeffrey Moss.
Mr. Moss, what part of the country do you live in, please, sir?
I live in Chicago, Illinois.
And what type of work do you do?
I'm in the education industry.
And are you a teacher or administrator or planner? What
I'm
do
a
you do?
vice president of an education company that serves students with special education needs.
Okay. How long have you been in that line of work, please, sir?
As an operator, about 3 years. As an investor, about a decade.
Okay. Now, do you know Andrea Sneiderman?
Yes, I do.
How long have you known her?
Probably just under 20 years.
Okay. How do you know Andrea Sneiderman?
I was introduced to Andrea by Rusty Sneiderman in college right after they started dating.
Okay, let me ask you this then. Who did you know first? Rusty Sneiderman, or I guess then Andrea Greenberg?
I met Rusty my first day of undergraduate, so Rusty.
First day of freshman year?
First day of freshman year, Rusty and his roommate lived across the hall from me. So I met him literally as I was moving into the dorms.
Okay. Did you develop a friendship initially with Rusty in college?
Yes, I did. Rusty and I became fast friends. We were both business majors, and we hit it off from the first day. Rusty seemed to hit it off with everyone, but we hit it off since the first day of school.
Okay. Now, can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury how long you were friends with Rusty before Andrea Mae Greenberg, now Sneiderman, came into the picture?
I can't remember what year of college they started dating, but it was probably 2 or 3 years.
Okay. Tell us, please, the circumstances under which you met Andrea Sneiderman.
Objection, Your Honor, relevance.
Mr. Petrie.
Your Honor, I believe that laying the foundation for his knowledge of both Andrea and Rusty and the extent of their relationship from the year early 90s until 2010 is very relevant. It lays the foundation and the credibility of this witness as to his observations.
I'm over the objection at this point in time. We'll give you some latitude, Mr. Petrie. Go
Yes, sir.
ahead.
I'm not going on forever. Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the
What
question?
year are we in now?
We're in her freshman year, I think, Your Honor.
What year is this?
It would have been 93, 94.
All right. We're okay.
Okay.
That's fine. We're in 93. Go ahead.
I'm not going to take you year by year, please.
Getting old.
What were the circumstances under which you first met her?
I first met Andrea at Rusty's apartment. He had introduced me to Andrea. He told me about a new girl he was dating, and I went over to his apartment for some reason and was introduced to Andrea then.
Okay. And did you have the opportunity from that date through the years to, even if you weren't with them routinely or periodically, to once you got out of college, did you have the opportunity to still stay connected with them?
Yeah, Rusty and I were very close all the way until he passed away. Even though we lived in different cities at the same time, in the same city at different times, we stayed very, very close. They moved to Chicago when I was living there. I was living
approximately when was that?
Sorry, that was 1998 or 99, somewhere in there. I moved to Boston in 99. Rusty and Andrea followed in, I think, about 2000 or 2001 when Rusty started business school. And then I had moved around since then, and they moved to Atlanta. I got to continue to see them relatively frequently from probably 2004 until 2010. I was a venture capitalist and had several portfolio companies in the Atlanta area, and would always try to visit with them when I was in town.
So after they moved to Atlanta, Mr. Moss, you were still living in Chicago at that time?
I was living in probably Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Chicago.
Not at the same time?
Not at the same time.
how often during the period of time between 2004, when they moved to Atlanta, when you first started visiting Atlanta, and 2010 when Rusty died, on approximately how many different occasions do you believe you got a chance to see them here in the Atlanta area?
Gosh, maybe 10 to 15, somewhere in that range. I apologize, I don't remember the exact number.
That's fine. And did you, on any of those occasions, ever actually stay at their home?
A number of times.
When they first moved to Boston, were you already in Boston before they moved there?
Yes, I was in Boston working. Andrea came, stayed with me the night before when they were here looking for houses, and I think Rusty came the next day.
What year is this?
This was 99, 2000.
1999, 2000. Go ahead.
And did they, in fact, live with you in Boston for a while, sir?
They didn't live with me, but they lived nearby in Cambridge.
Did they ever stay with you while they were trying to find a
Yes,
home?
they did.
Okay, and,
Numerous times.
I guess I'm using the word live a little too freely there. Did they stay with you
Yes,
and they
they
were
did.
looking for their own residence?
Yes, they did.
Okay. And the
Lawyers, approach for a minute. Lawyers, approach for a minute.
Jeff Hullinger along with B.J. Pak, the defense attorney, and we have seen friend after friend of the Sneidermans, Rusty and Andrea, prior to Rusty's murder. And this guy is from Chicago here, who is an associate as well, again, painting that picture of a relationship that was not in trouble.
Certainly, that's cutting against the main theme of the prosecution. That's the basis for many of the charges in this case, which is the romantic relationship between Hemi Newman and Ms. Sneiderman, and also the false statements.
If they have trotted out at least a half a dozen of these friends who have been, for the most part, without any kind of emotion, you still believe that Shana Citron's evidence, where she was highly charged, highly theatrical, if you will, still is a real shot at Andrea Sneiderman in this trial.
Certainly, this is a battle of quantity over quality of testimony.
Back into the courtroom now.
Did you have occasion to observe their interactions with each other once they moved to Atlanta, your own observations of how they, as a couple, handled themselves? Not an opinion or a guess or a supposition, but what was actually observable to someone witnessing them.
Yes, I had dinner with them several times during my visits to Atlanta. I stayed at their house. We spent many a night talking about some of Rusty's business ventures and career opportunities and the like, so I spent a fair amount of time, and Andrea was, if not always, certainly very frequently part of those conversations.
Did you observe, when was the last time you saw Rusty?
Last time I saw Rusty was probably the end of 2009 or beginning of 2010.
And again, that was down here in Atlanta?
I was down in Atlanta.
Okay. Now, when you observed Rusty and Andrea together at the end of Rusty's life, within the last, say, year or year and a half of Rusty's life, can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Mr. Moss, whether or not you observed anything about their relationship indicating to you that there was a rift or a coldness or an emotional separation or anything of that nature?
There was nothing different at all. It was the same as they had been in college. It was the same as they were, as I had always known them as a couple.
Okay. Are you married, sir?
Yes, I am.
Do you know what the silent treatment is?
Yes, I do.
Did you ever see one or the other of it give it to the other? And that might be Rusty and Andrea.
No.
Okay. And as opposed to active aggression or hostility, sort of passive aggressive stonewall silence.
I didn't see either one.
Now, can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, please, Mr. Moss, whether or not you observed, let's say in 2009, 2010, when you were with them, did you observe them actually doing activities together other than hosting you? So in other words, other than sitting down with you and maybe having a glass of wine or dinner, did you observe them doing other activities? Business-related, family-related, anything of that nature?
Well, family was such a strong part of everything they did. So when it was having dinner with them, it was actually sitting down with their children and them having dinner. I went with Rusty once actually to drop Ian off at daycare a couple of years earlier. So yeah, I saw some of it, but I was typically with them during the week as opposed to weekends, and because I was trying to get home to my family on the weekends.
Okay. But during those times that you were with them during the week, the observations that you made, were those consistent with what you've previously testified here to today?
Yes. I mean, everything from, again, putting the kids down at night, to bathing the children, to having meals, and then even the conversations that we were having more socially. Again, everything is consistent.
Okay. To the best of your recollection, Mr. Moss, were there any occasions, any topics, any behavior on the behalf of Andrea Sneiderman or Rusty Sneiderman that appeared to be an aberration for the types of behavior you'd known them to do for the last 18 to 20 years?
Nothing at all.
Okay. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Ms. Greencross, is this your witness?
It is, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am. You may cross-examine if you wish.
Thank you. Mr. Moss, if I understood your testimony, you hadn't even seen Rusty or Andrea for almost a year prior to Rusty's death. Is that right?
No, that wasn't what I said.
Please explain. What did you say?
I said I may have seen him at the beginning of 2010 or end of 2009. He died on November 18th.
Okay, so sometime in late 2009 and early 2010 was the last time you saw Rusty.
The last time I saw them, however, I know I spoke with Rusty
Please
a
listen
number
to
of
my
times
question.
beforehand.
Please, Mr. Moss, please listen to my question. I'm
Sorry,
asking when the
I haven't done
last
this
time you
before.
saw Rusty.
Yeah, it was probably, again, end of 2009, beginning of 2010.
Approximately a year prior to his death. 10 months to a year prior to his death.
That's probably about right.
Thank you. And in that 10 months to a year prior to his death, you didn't notice anything unusual about their behavior together. Is that right?
Nothing at all.
They had the perfect marriage as far as you could tell.
That was, as far as I could tell,
As
yes.
far as you could tell. Now, the last time you saw Rusty and Andrea in late 2009 or early 2010, the defendant had not yet gone to work at GE. Is that right?
That's correct.
So
At
during...
least I think it is. Do you have the exact date she started work? I apologize. I just want to make sure I'm being truthful.
Please listen to my question. To the best of your recollection, the last time you saw Rusty and Andrea Sneiderman prior to his death was Andrea Sneiderman working at GE. To the best of your recollection.
I don't remember when she started.
Do you remember at the time you saw her that she had started a new job?
I don't recall.
Okay. And you didn't come visit, you talked with Mr. Petrie about the many times you've come to Atlanta to see them. In all of 2000 and in July 2010, did you come to see them?
No, I did not.
Okay. In August of 2010, did you come to see them?
No, I did not.
In September of 2010, did you come to see them?
No, I did not.
What about October 2010?
No, I did not.
All right. What, if anything, did you know about the defendant's relationship with her boss, Hemi Newman, at the time?
At the time, I knew he was her boss, and I knew Rusty was trying to help him find a job because Rusty made an introduction to me over email to him.
Did you know that the defendant had a romantic relationship with him in 2010?
No, I did not.
She never talked to you about that?
No, she didn't.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Moss.
Mr. Petrie, any additional questions?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, you may. Ask as many as you wish.
Mr. Moss, you, of your own knowledge, the question was asked of you, do you know that she had a romantic relationship with him and Newman? You answered no. Is that correct?
That's correct.
You don't know whether or not she did, correct?
Correct. That's why I was a little surprised by the question.
Okay. Thank you.
Any recross?
No, Your Honor.
Lawyers, may this witness be released and excused from his subpoena.
Your Honor, we have no objection. He is also an out-of-state witness who's got a tag as long as the state understands that he would be hopping on a plane.
I understand. I have no objection.
All right, you're free to go.
Thank you.
Have a safe trip back to where? Chicago, I believe.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Call your next witness, please. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break. Follow the instructions of Deputy Garrett. You 10 minutes, Mr. Clay. 10 minutes. All right.